Good afternoon. Let me get this squared away here. What's up, friends and family? So, one thing I've been talking about recently is our rescue snake situation. Let me make sure I can get chat here in case you guys want to comment. So I'll get this set up. Pardon me. Let's do a live chat. Okay, so you should be able to do that now if you'd like. Let's see. Okay, so we got that up. If anyone decides to join on, I just wanted to read an update for everything that's been going on. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I posted about 70 ball pythons that were rescued out of some pretty dirty situation and sort of a lack of care. Hi, Flat Mountain Pythons, what's up? So the update is one, it's 67 snakes, not 70. Pardon me for rounding up. So you might see that on the thumbnail. But most things are going pretty well. So there's been a few things that we wanted to address. So one of the things is these animals were driven from the original location to the Spirit Keeper Equine Sanctuary, or excuse me, it's just Spirit Keeper Sanctuary. They also do equines. In Colorado, where they're in the care of Lori Tarini with behavior education. What's up, Lori? I see you commenting in the chat. And I wanted to share because she's done some really amazing things with the snakes that have been in their care. So one of the first things that she did was get every single one of them seen by Dr. Pfaff, an exotic veterinarian out there by her, who is fantastic and has done a lot of fantastic work. If anyone, by the way, if you can't hear me, I got this mic on. I'm not sure if the batteries are working, so let me know if there's audio problems. And a lot of people kind of question that, right? They said, if you're taking in so many snakes, do each of them need to get seen by a vet? And why isn't the vet coming to you and charging sort of a surplus or a bulk fee? Let me just clear some things up about that. So first off, when you do a rescue, you need to go to a vet. Otherwise, you're not really doing a rescue, right? If there's an animal that needs some sort of medical attention, especially. So a lot of times what happens when people get these animals in for a rescue is, our friend Mary said it best, they just change zip codes for these animals. It goes from one bad situation to another bad situation. Because if you pick up a snake, but you're not willing to throw down a few bucks and take it to the vet, I don't know what kind of rescue that is, right? If you're picking up a sick snake and say, help, Facebook, how do I help it? So I think the criticism there for taking the snakes to the vet is kind of crazy. And I did want to address that because this is absolutely what's needed for them. And $80 per snake is actually a really good deal. It's when you're going to get someone come out to the whole facility to look at all snakes, that's not what they do. They don't give an individualized exam for each snake. And we'll talk about that in a second too, why that's important and the kind of care that these animals are getting. But you're not going to get an individualized exam for each snake. They're not going to judge the wellness of each snake. What Lori Tarini is doing is, hi Kitty, I don't know if you can hear my cat, is she is evaluating not just their living conditions, not just their health conditions, but their fear, anxiety, and stress levels. Me too, pythons. She's evaluating everything for their health and their well-being. She's monitoring their behavior and all in all taking these snakes from a bad situation to a really wonderful living situation. And it's really fantastic. I'll get into it. Let's talk about the update because one of the folks who's been sharing a lot of information on this on Facebook is Kate Mistral. And I've got notes in the description of how to contact these folks too. So some of these names I mentioned, we'll talk about adopting them. There's notes in the contacts about, or excuse me, in the description of this about how to contact them and why you'll do that in just a little bit here. So this update was posted, what day is today? The night. So this was posted yesterday. Lily, and we're going to talk about a specific snake. One of the 67 snakes rescued from a case of criminal neglect and currently residing at Spirit Keeper Animal Sanctuary is about a year old, but weighs only 214 grams. A weight you would expect in a 4-month-old baby snake. Pardon me. What's up, Kate, Anna? So we've also seen we've seen this case with a few other of the rescued animals where there's 3-year-old snakes that weigh under 400 grams, just some severely emaciated animals. But Lily was one of them. Although she's not super old, she's about a year old. She was still really small at 214. She spent her life in a rack system in a dark tub that didn't allow her to experience daylight or ever see the outside world. Upon arrival at the sanctuary on April 16th, happy birthday to my friend Sarah on April 16th, Lily's intake home was a large plastic tub with translucent sides. So that's the first thing that she set up, was just a plastic tub for the snake to get into. She could sense light and movement, but had no clear view of her surroundings. She mostly stayed balled up or hidden with a fear and stress rating of 3 to 4 on a scale where 1 is outgoing and 5 is extremely fearful. And if you aren't following Lori Tarini, her video, her channel has a good video right now on fear, anxiety, and stress and how she's measuring it in snakes. So that's really worth following. Yesterday on Wednesday, so 2 days ago now, something changed. She was moved into a clear front tub enclosure and could see her surroundings. And yesterday evening, she ventured out to explore her world for the very first time. Simply enabling her to see out and allowing her to explore once she approached the front of the enclosure has made a huge difference in her life. Lily is a reminder that there's hope for all of these snakes. Younger snakes like Lily may adapt more quickly, but we hope that with time, patience, and the opportunity to experience choice, even the most fearful of these snakes will emerge to a full and enriched life. That's a huge option there, is their ability to experience choice. And so this snake went from April 16th to May 9th, which is, what was that, 23 days. It just took her a little over 3 weeks to really come out of her shell. So she'll remain in care of sanctuary for the next 1 to 3 months until she sheds, gains weights, and passes healthy waist. She's what we call a midterm resident. Lori can probably correct me in the chat, but I think she said that 1 snake has had a healthy poop so far. Otherwise, it's all been runny, which is very indicative of transferring new animals into a new home. And one of the reasons why I mentioned they're still in process, still in transition, and there's still a lot of ground to go. There's a couple snakes that are extremely emaciated, some with neurological conditions that are anticipated from that morph, some spider-type complex animals, and a few things that are just really sort of pending further evaluation, because there's a few snakes that are still on the edge, and it's mostly due to malnutrition, but also extremely high fear, anxiety, and stress, which I'm not going to get into it, but we've talked about with rack environments and low mental stimulation environments. It can really lead to sort of poor cognitive function for these animals. So there's a reason why we're seeing a lot of health concerns with them. If you're interested in making one of these resilient snakes like Lily, obviously this had probably 4 to 6 weeks at least to go, forever and cherished family member, please reach out to Kate, who I'm reading her. They've had 2 regurgs from the feeding, but both have now eaten. And so I'm reading the chat from Lori. So she said some of them are starting at 5% meals of their body weight, just to kind of keep them down. So it's so much work. Lori talks behind the scenes about all the work she's doing, and I'm you get that feeling of guilt because you can't help. You're not there to do anything. I'm I don't know, 1,200 miles away or something like that, and it's just like I wish I could just help her clean out a few cages, feed a few animals, because she's trying to tong feed or target feed and check on these animals individually, because frankly that's what they deserve, and it's exhausting. So kudos to Lori for the work that she's done. If you're like me and you feel a little guilty and there's something you want to do, she said, I wish we had a transporter or could teleport. Yeah, no kidding. That's the other thing too, is Spirit Keeper Sanctuary doesn't ship snakes. It's not something that the board approves of, and it doesn't speak with their ethos. So when I tell you that this sanctuary genuinely cares about these animals, they genuinely want them to have good lives and care about them as if they're pets already. They're not just animals they took in. I mean it, and they stick to it. They stick to their principles as well. So it's not just something they say and, oh, they'll make an exception and go here. We had resources available to take snakes that just, frankly, we've turned down because it's not the right place. So I shouldn't say we, but Lori's turned down. So I'm really pleased with where they are. And if you feel like there's something you want to help, there's two things you could do. One, there's a link to PayPal Giving Fund in the description of this this video right now. Feel free to exit the video and go ahead and do that. Donate and come back and check the rest later. I won't be mad about that. Or you can also adopt some of these adoptable snakes because, frankly, the Spirit Keeper Sanctuary needs all the space they can get. They were actually closed for intakes when they took on this rescue. Look at my Rams blanket just behind me, like a mess. Sorry about this. And they were closed for it, but because this has been a case that we've been working on, been talking to the owner of the snakes for years, we couldn't say no. So Lori couldn't say no. She had to. She did the thing that we all want to do but never actually do, and she said yes. And she took these animals in and she gave them a place, and she's taking great care of them. She's taking each and every one of them to the vet, which is what they need. If you are interested in adopting, like I said, reach out to Kate Mistral, Tracy Judd, Tay Long, or Jaslyn Taylor to learn more about the process and requirements. You can find them on Facebook and Messenger. We are taking, so thank you, Lori, for bringing that up in the chat. If just because they don't ship doesn't mean it's not available. We do work with, I keep saying we because Lori wrote we. I'm not doing any of it. She does work with transporters and a few other folks too. So they are taking a group of snakes out to St. Louis, for instance, later on that'll help get them out there. So just because they're not shipping, what they mean is they're not going to put it in a box overnight and leave it with FedEx and have it bounce around and get kicked around. Thank you, Lori. I feel a little connected to it, but you're doing all the hard work, so that's why I try and keep it a you. As of right now, about 15 snakes are still waiting to be upgraded from intake enclosures, which are still a lot bigger than a rack enclosure, and most importantly, they're clean and they have water and they're getting fed, to larger grow tents or clear front tubs. So they still got about 15 snakes needing it. Donations of grow tents from the Amazon wish list will be really appreciated because they were so severely underfed. Most of these remaining snakes are quite small, so just a 24-inch grow tent on the list will provide them with plenty of room to stretch, climb, and explore. And I won't have the link in that now, but I'm going to put that Amazon link in the description once I close this live too. So I'll edit the description and add that in there so you can donate to that too. And here's a note from Kate that I know has been worked with the rest of the group too. So to all those who have donated so far, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. But mostly I want to say, look at the photos of Lily exploring. So you're not going to do that here because it's on Facebook. Look at the photos of Lily exploring for the first time and know that you made this happen. From a hungry and deprived existence in a dark, bare rack, you've helped this young snake and the others like her experience a whole new existence. And so that's what I mean. Each one of these snakes is being treated as an individual and getting an individual opportunity to be a pet snake as opposed to just an item in a collection. And look, that's not the mission. It wasn't sent out by Lori to just get rid of snakes and racks. It was a specific case and that sort of thing. And watching these animals go from their high FAS scores and then to suddenly choose to explore their environment and then choose to explore outside of their environment has got to be incredibly rewarding. And that's really awesome. I want to highlight another snake, and Lori sent out this press release. Again, if you're not following Lori, Behavior Education LLC on Facebook, the Behavior Education group and the Patreon group. If you can find Lori Tarini's YouTube channel, there's links within all of that to her Patreon. Fantastic updates and fantastic info and resources always shared. One of the snakes is Nigel. So he's a 6-year-old male Python Regis, royal python, ball python, a rescued snake currently on the care of Spirit Keeper Animal Sanctuary. He was relinquished to the sanctuary during a police-led hoarding case involving criminal animal neglect. Nigel was found in unsanitary conditions with poor or inadequate husbandry that may have contributed to his medical issues. So this is sort of medical findings for the sanctuary. On May 9th, 2025, Lori transported Nigel to the hospital where a veterinary ophthalmologist, Dr. Lori Best Hall, eye specialist for animals, and they had a preliminary exam. And the exam, she got him to give her a discount at $200. And follow-up exams are going to be, they might be cheaper, but they're all going to be around there too. Long story short, summary of findings, Nigel was diagnosed with cataracts in both eyes. So when I say that this is a true rescue, I mean it. So I work in animal shelters, and I'll tell you right now, if an animal comes in with cataracts, it's not getting cataract surgery. It's going to get maintained. It's going to get taken care of, food, water, health, and those sort of things. But sort of those deteriorative conditions like cataracts, sort of a vision problem that grows over time, most rescues don't have a budget for that. When Lori took these animals in, she did it with the intention that she was going to give them every single thing that they needed to live their best life. Not just a life and not just live, but live their best life. So she's taking animals with cataracts to get looked at by ophthalmologists. And that may result in cataract surgery, which is a thing in snakes, which may result in a little bit more money being needed too. Now, there were videos out from Bob Bledsoe, what's his name, Snake Boy, expert in the idiot, that really did a wonderful job helping, in Lori's videos, helping raise funds already for it. But we're coming to an end of that. We still need them. So part of me, if I'm making a face, I look like I gotta sneeze. And it's just allergy season around here. So I'm struggling with not withholding in the sneeze at the moment. So pardon my facial expressions. But here's someone who's taking these snakes in to get cataract surgery, to get their own individual tubs. Oh, I got to sneeze so bad. And it's just not going to happen. And she's done such an amazing job taking care of these animals. But just because the hype has ended doesn't mean that the need has ended. So I wanted to come on here and give an extra update, let you know that if you wanted to help out, you could do so by, one, taking animals off of Lori's hands and adopting some, right? Giving them a good home. How wonderful to give these snakes a great home, take them out of those rat conditions and put them up in a great big 4x2x2 or 6x2x2 Viv and really let them live their best lives. I think that would be awesome. That would be an awesome experience for anyone who's looking to do that. You could always message me if you're interested, and I could help you get in touch with the right people. But again, there's information if you're curious in doing that in the description below. I do want to double check and make sure I covered everything. Yeah, it's all 70 of these snakes, or excuse me, 60, 70 of these snakes have been named and given totally upgraded homes, and they're getting absolutely the best care. The funds came in and it covered the initial intake, and that was awesome. But we're asking for more, because why not? Actually, no, not because why not, because they need it. And if you'd like to help, you can. So I'm not going to stay on here too long. If anyone has any questions, I didn't see anything too pressing or anything like that. But if anyone has any questions that they wanted to chat about, let me know. I see, let me see, show chat, there we go. Yeah, so I don't see, I'll go through here. Nope, a lot of love, so thanks guys for watching that. I don't see any questions. So that's it. Wanted to share that update. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to try and get this up on our channel stored permanently so that anyone can come up and see it. I'll upload the additional link to the Amazon purchases that anyone can buy too. You could also help with enrichment items and that sort of thing too. So each one of these snakes is not just getting brought into a bigger home, it's also getting enrichment. And like I said, they're getting to explore, they're getting to see light, they're getting to move. And yes, it is important that they're finally getting hydrated and that they're finally getting meals and that they're being monitored for their health and all that stuff. But just to see them get the engagement and the enrichment that they need is so rewarding. So thank you, Lori. Thank you to Kate for sharing and typing this message up. Thank you to Tay and Jazz and Tracy for all the work you're doing helping coordinate adoption. Shout out to Kaylee Ollie as well for her big fundraising effort too. That was awesome. Shout out to Paul and Joy for going to get these snakes. And shout out to the original keeper for, even though she was working with police, they came to a point where they said, figure it out or face some consequences. But after as many times as people hear that, you'd be surprised how many times they still say, well, give me the consequences. And this keeper said, totally right, it's a wake-up call I needed, and good on her for doing that because it's super difficult. Yeah, we're going to do the best we can. So thank you guys so much for showing up and watching. Until next time.